And joining us via Zoom is Vincent Onyekwelu, former British police officer. Welcome to AIT Reports.
Hi, good afternoon, Nigerian.
Okay, and quickly, as a security expert, what are the issues involving the proscribed Islamic movement of Nigeria?
Obviously, the issues are very broad. The issues are very complex. Number one issue, let's do a bit of background check. What is Shiite? Now, Shiite are one of the many groups in Islam. In Islam, you have the Sunnis, the Shiites, the Sufis, the Salafis, the Ahmadiyas, and so many others. Just like in Christianity, you have the Catholics, Anglicans, Pentecostals, Apostolics, and so on and so forth. Number two, the Sunnis are more in population across the world than the Shiites. Number three, one of the major challenges between the Shiite and the Sunnis is that the Sunnis believe that the power of succession, the power of authority has to be in consensus via elections, whereas the Shiites believe that succession powers must be from the bloodline of the Holy Prophet of Islam, peace be unto him. So this is a bit of background because of for time's sake. Now, what you need to understand that when the Shiite of Nigeria were proscribed in 2019, I think about July 2019, to become a proscribed organization, a terrorist organization, you ask yourself, is that fair on the Shiites? It's just like saying that the Catholics will, or the government of Nigeria will proscribe Anglican Church or Catholics or Pentecostals to become proscribed. Now, you find out in Nigeria that the governments of Nigeria that have been in the past were mostly Sunni leaders. So the government of our Buhari and the others were Sunnis. So they use this opportunity to break down on the Shiites, just like in the government of Iraq. In Iraq, the government there is made of Shiites, and they use their powers to pull down on the Sunnis. If you go to Lebanon, the government in Lebanon is majority Shiites, and they use their powers against the Sunnis. If you go to Iran, the government in Iran is mostly Shiite, and they use their powers in Sunnis. So these are kind of the issues we have in international security we are talking about here. So the idea of what happened yesterday, the Shiites were celebrating the Ashura festival. Obviously, it's a festival celebrated by the Shiites across the world. And obviously, the intelligence agencies in Nigeria are very much aware about the Ashura festival comes up this time of the year every year. And the question is, what were their preparations to make sure that there is no public procession? Because the Shiites have been proscribed as a terrorist organization. Now, you ask yourself, how come those 5 or 7 or 10 police officers got into harm's way? As a former police officer, I ask myself, if you look at what happened during the end
quickly,
you
what can the security agencies do to prevent future violence? Because let's focus on the issue that happened here in Abuja at Wuse traffic light. Let's focus on that now. And how can the security agencies prevent future violence? Because we know that they have been proscribed. We know that the police did not authorize their procession. So what did they do wrong or did not do enough that allowed such violence occur?
Thank you. Number one, if I ask you as a journalist to be very careful of the dangers of a single story, you understand what I mean. Right now, we are getting narratives from the police, from the federal government of Nigeria. In national security, you cannot know the truth if you get your narratives from only one source.
What is the implication of what happened yesterday? What does that mean for Nigeria? What does that mean for the Shiites?
It's very disturbing incident. It's disturbing in the sense that Number one, that on a normal, we should have CCTV cameras on such an important junction in such an important part of the Federal Capital Territory. Had it been we have CCTV cameras installed there, we could have a first-class information of what transpired before the police officers were killed, while they were being beaten, and what happened afterwards. With those kind of cameras, we can have facial identification of the people that killed our police officers, so that way we can easily bring them to justice. Right now, without facial identification, without knowing who and who participated, we cannot even verify if really they had improvised explosive devices in them as alleged by the police authorities. Number two, it's very disgraceful that such issue can happen in the Federal Capital Territory in an area like Wuse, which is a very important business sector of the Federal Capital Territory. It's very disturbing that fathers, breadwinners, gallant police officers who went there to serve the nation were brutally killed, and we are not sure of what happened to him or who exactly and who killed him. Now, the side implications is this, that if such can happen in Abuja, would he encourage copycat criminals? Would he encourage more Shiite members to try to set up the same kind of protest in the future? Would he encourage people that tried to copy what happened yesterday to try to do more, knowing there will not be critical actions against them? And in conclusion, sir, we have to understand that internationally, it's a bad news for Nigeria that such can happen in the Federal Capital Territory, because if it happens that way, that means places like Zaria or Kaduna, that happens to be a stronghold of the Shiites. You must know that if you live in Zaria, Kaduna areas, Shiites are very violent, they are very aggressive. Whenever they go on procession, they disrupt traffic, they disturb people, they can kill, they can destroy property.
Just before, sorry to cut you short, before you go, just what advice do you have for security agents now to ensure that this kind of violence is forestalled in the future? Like, they can prevent this kind of violence from happening quickly.
If you will allow me in 30 seconds, number one, the preparations were very poor because they knew that the Ashura festival is yesterday.